Have you ever met someone and felt like they were meant to enter your life at that exact moment? Like the universe itself orchestrated your meeting? What if I told you that according to Carl Jung, that feeling isn't just romantic fantasy? It's a profound psychological truth about how destiny operates through human connection. Today we're exploring one of Jung's most mystical and transformative concepts, that the people who come into your life are not accidents, but mirrors reflecting back the parts of your soul you haven't yet discovered. And for women especially, understanding this principle can completely revolutionize how you see your relationships, your patterns, and your path forward. Let me start with something Jung wrote that changed how I understand every relationship in my life. Meeting you was fate. Becoming your friend was a choice, but falling in love with you I had no control over. But Jung wasn't just talking about romantic love. He was talking about those soul-level connections that alter the entire trajectory of your existence. Think about the people who have fundamentally changed you, not just influenced you, but actually transformed who you are at your core. Maybe it was a teacher who saw potential in you that you couldn't see in yourself. Maybe it was a friend who appeared during your darkest moment and somehow knew exactly what to say. Maybe it was a romantic partner who broke your heart so completely that you had to rebuild yourself from scratch. Or maybe it was someone who hurt you so deeply that you finally learned to set boundaries and protect yourself. Jung would say these people weren't random. They were destined encounters, what he called synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that reveal the hidden order beneath the chaos of life. And here's what's absolutely fascinating. These people don't just change your external circumstances. They activate invisible psychological processes within you, bringing to the surface parts of yourself that were dormant, hidden, or repressed. From a Jungian perspective, every significant person in your life serves as a catalyst for your individuation, that lifelong process of becoming who you truly are. They're not just characters in your story. They're psychological triggers that force you to confront your shadow, integrate your archetypes, and ultimately evolve toward wholeness. For women, this understanding is particularly powerful because we're often taught to see relationships as separate from our individual development. We're told to focus on connection, on maintaining harmony, on adapting ourselves to others. But Jung shows us something different, that the very relationships we form are actually the primary vehicles for our psychological transformation. Before we go deeper, if you're fascinated by how Jungian psychology applies to your real life and relationships, make sure to subscribe to this channel. We explore these profound concepts in practical ways that can genuinely transform how you understand yourself and others. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future videos. Now let's talk about what Jung meant when he said that people are mirrors of your soul. This isn't just poetic language, it's describing a specific psychological mechanism. When you meet someone who profoundly affects you, what's actually happening is that they're reflecting back aspects of your own psyche that you've projected onto them. Jung called this projection, and it's one of the most powerful forces in human relationships. You see in others what you cannot yet see in yourself. The person you're wildly attracted to, they're carrying qualities that belong to your own undeveloped potential. The person who irritates you beyond reason, they're showing you your own shadow, the parts of yourself you've rejected and denied. Let's get specific about how this works with what Jung called archetypes. Archetypes are universal patterns of human experience that live in what Jung termed the collective unconscious, a shared psychological inheritance that all humans carry. These aren't just abstract concepts. They're living energies that shape how you experience relationships and who you attract into your life. For women, certain archetypes tend to be particularly active and influential. There's the mother archetype, the nurturer, the caregiver, the one who creates safe spaces for others. There's the maiden archetype, innocence, curiosity, new beginnings, the part of you that approaches life with wonder. There's the wild woman or the huntress, independence, instinct, untamed power, the part of you that refuses to be domesticated. And there's the wise woman or crone, wisdom earned through experience, the integration of all you've lived through. Here's where it gets interesting. The people who change your destiny are often embodying the archetype you most need to develop in yourself. If you keep attracting wounded people who need saving, you're likely over-identified with the mother archetype, and you need to develop your huntress, your capacity to prioritize yourself and set boundaries. If you keep attracting domineering partners, you might need to develop your own inner authority and stop projecting your power onto others. Jung believed that we unconsciously seek out people who will help us complete ourselves, who carry the qualities we need to integrate. This is why certain relationships feel fated, because at a soul level, you recognize that this person has something essential to teach you about yourself. Let me share an example. Sarah, a woman I know, kept attracting emotionally unavailable men. Every relationship followed the same pattern: intense initial connection, then gradual withdrawal from the man, leaving her anxiously pursuing him. For years, she thought she just had bad luck with men, but from a Jungian perspective, something else was happening. These men were mirroring back her own emotional unavailability to herself. She was so focused on trying to earn their love that she never stopped to ask what she genuinely wanted or needed. She was abandoning herself, and the universe kept sending her men who would abandon her in exactly the same way, forcing her to finally confront this pattern. When she finally understood this, everything changed. The next time she met an emotionally unavailable man, instead of pursuing him, she recognized him as a mirror. She asked herself, "Where am I emotionally unavailable to myself? Where do I abandon my own needs? Where do I make others' approval more important than my own self-respect?" That relationship didn't last, but it served its purpose. It catalyzed her transformation. This is what Jung meant by synchronicity. It's not just that meaningful coincidences happen. It's that the external world arranges itself to reflect your internal psychological state. The people who appear in your life at specific moments are synchronistic events, showing up precisely when you need them to activate the next stage of your development. Now let's talk about the shadow, because this is where relationships get really uncomfortable and really transformative. Your shadow is everything about yourself that you've repressed, denied, or rejected. It's the anger you weren't allowed to express, the selfishness you were taught was wrong, the sexuality you learned to hide, the ambition you were told was unfeminine. The people who trigger you most intensely, the ones who make you irrationally angry, judgmental, or reactive, are showing you your shadow. If someone's confidence irritates you, it might be because you've repressed your own confidence. If someone's vulnerability disgusts you, it might be because you've rejected your own need for softness. If someone's selfishness enrages you, it might be because you've denied your own legitimate self-interest. Jung said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." The people who push your buttons aren't your enemies. They're your teachers. They're forcing you to look at the parts of yourself you'd rather not acknowledge. And here's the beautiful, terrible truth. Until you integrate your shadow, you'll keep attracting people who embody it. The narcissist you keep dating, they're showing you where you need to develop healthy self-focus. The people pleaser who drains you, they're showing you where you abandon your own boundaries. The critical person who makes you feel small, they're showing you your own harsh inner critic. Jung also introduced the concept of the anima and animus, the contrasexual archetypes that live within us. For women, the animus represents the inner masculine, your capacity for assertiveness, logic, independence, and action. For men, the anima represents the inner feminine. But we're focusing on women here, so let's explore the animus in depth. Your animus isn't just an abstract concept. It manifests in real relationships. The men you're attracted to often embody qualities of your undeveloped animus. If you're drawn to powerful, dominant men, you might need to develop your own inner power and authority. If you're attracted to intellectual, analytical men, you might need to cultivate your own thinking function and trust your own mind. But here's where it gets complex. An undeveloped animus can actually work against you. Jung noticed that women with immature animus energy often experienced it as harsh inner criticism, rigid opinions, or destructive certainty. It's that voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, that judges you mercilessly, that sees everything in black and white. When your animus is undeveloped, you tend to project it onto men, seeing them as more capable, more rational, more authoritative than you. You defer to male opinions. You doubt your own judgment. You look to men to provide the decisiveness and confidence you haven't developed in yourself. And consequently, you attract men who either dominate you or disappoint you because they can never live up to the projected power you've placed on them. The transformation happens when you start withdrawing these projections and developing these qualities within yourself. You stop looking for a man to make you feel safe and you cultivate your own inner security. You stop seeking a man to validate your worth and you develop your own self-respect. You stop waiting for a man to give you permission to live boldly and you claim your own authority. This is individuation in action, becoming a whole person rather than half a person seeking completion through another. And ironically, when you do this work, your relationships actually improve dramatically. You stop attracting partners who are carrying your projected qualities and start attracting people who are also doing their own inner work. Let's talk about another crucial Jungian concept, the complex. A complex is an emotionally charged cluster of ideas, memories, and feelings organized around a central theme, usually formed in childhood. You might have a father complex, a mother complex, an inferiority complex, or an abandonment complex. These complexes don't just sit dormant in your psyche, they actively shape who you're attracted to and how your relationships unfold. If you have a father complex because your father was absent or critical, you'll likely be drawn to men who recreate that dynamic. If you have a mother complex from an overbearing or narcissistic mother, you might attract partners who try to control or diminish you. Jung said these complexes have their own autonomy. They're like subpersonalities within you that take over when triggered. You might be a mature, rational adult most of the time, but when your abandonment complex gets activated by a partner pulling away, suddenly you're a terrified child, willing to do anything to prevent being left. The people who change your destiny are often the ones who activate your complexes most powerfully. They're not doing this to hurt you, though it certainly feels that way. They're doing it because, at a soul level, you need to heal these wounds. You need to become conscious of these patterns so you can finally integrate them and free yourself from their control. This is why your most painful relationships are often your most transformative ones. The person who abandons you might be forcing you to finally heal your abandonment wound. The person who betrays you might be showing you where you've betrayed yourself. The person who can't love you might be reflecting back your own inability to love yourself. From a Jungian perspective, there are no villains in your story, only mirrors. Even the people who hurt you deeply are serving a function in your psychological development. They're showing you what needs healing, what needs integrating, what needs transforming within you. This doesn't mean you should stay in harmful relationships or excuse abusive behavior. Absolutely not. But it does mean you can extract wisdom and growth from every encounter, even the painful ones. You can ask yourself, what is this person mirroring back to me? What pattern am I being asked to see? What part of myself needs development or healing? Now let's explore Jung's concept of synchronicity more deeply, because this is where destiny and psychology intersect in the most mystical way. Synchronicity is when external events mirror your internal psychological state in ways that can't be explained by normal cause and effect. It's meaningful coincidence, and Jung believed these weren't random at all. The person who appears in your life exactly when you need them isn't coincidence. The book that falls off the shelf with the exact message you needed to hear. The chance encounter that leads to a life-changing opportunity. These are synchronicities, and Jung believed they reveal a deeper order underlying reality, an acausal connecting principle that links psyche and matter. For women, synchronicity often manifests most powerfully in relationships. You think about someone you haven't spoken to in years, and they text you that same day. You meet someone who seems to understand you at a soul level, as if you've known each other before. You keep encountering the same type of person until you finally learn the lesson they're meant to teach you. Jung believed that synchronicities increase when you're in a state of psychological transition, when you're individuating, when you're healing, when you're becoming more conscious. The universe, or what Jung called the self with a capital S, arranges external circumstances to support your inner transformation. The right people appear at the right time because you're psychologically ready for what they have to teach you. This is why you can meet the same person at different points in your life and have completely different experiences. When you're not ready for the lesson, the person might pass through your life barely noticed. But when you're ripe for transformation, that same person becomes catalytic, destiny-changing, unforgettable. Let me share another story. Maria had been working on healing her people-pleasing patterns in therapy. She'd spent years sacrificing her needs, avoiding conflict, and making herself small to keep others comfortable. One day, she met a woman at a networking event who was unapologetically assertive, direct, and self-focused. Maria's immediate reaction was judgment. This woman seemed selfish and abrasive, but Maria had learned to examine her judgments as potential shadow material. She asked herself, what quality is this woman displaying that I've rejected in myself? The answer was clear: healthy self-interest and the ability to prioritize her own needs without guilt. This was exactly what Maria needed to develop. That chance meeting was synchronistic. Maria was ready to integrate this quality, and the universe provided a living example of it. The woman became a mentor to Maria, teaching her through example how to be assertive without being aggressive, how to set boundaries without apology, how to value herself as much as she valued others. This is how synchronicity works in relationships. The people who appear are precisely calibrated to your current developmental needs. You don't attract random people. You attract mirrors, teachers, and catalysts for your specific journey. Jung also believed in what he called the transcendent function, the psyche's natural drive toward wholeness and integration. Your psyche is always trying to balance itself, to integrate what's been split off, to bring consciousness to what's been unconscious, and it uses relationships as one of its primary tools for this work. When you're too identified with one side of a polarity, you'll attract people who embody the opposite. If you're overly independent and self-sufficient, refusing all vulnerability, you might attract someone who's deeply emotional and dependent, forcing you to develop your softer side. If you're overly accommodating and passive, you might attract someone domineering, pushing you to finally develop your backbone. The transcendent function works through these relational dynamics, using the tension between opposites to create transformation. The person who drives you crazy with their opposite approach to life isn't wrong. They're showing you the quality you need to develop to become whole. This is particularly important for women to understand because we're often socialized into one-sided expressions of femininity. We're taught to be nurturing but not assertive, emotional but not logical, accommodating but not self-focused, vulnerable but not powerful. Our psyche rebels against this one-sidedness and attracts people who force us to develop our disowned opposite qualities. The angry woman who appears in your life might be inviting you to develop healthy anger. The unavailable person might be teaching you self-sufficiency. The needy person might be showing you where you've rejected your own needs. Every challenging relationship is an invitation to wholeness, even when it feels like hell. So what do you do with all of this knowledge? How do you actually work with these destined encounters in a way that transforms you rather than just repeating the same painful patterns? This is where Jung's practical wisdom becomes essential for everyday life. First, you need to start seeing every significant relationship as a mirror. When someone triggers a strong emotional response in you, whether it's attraction, irritation, fascination, or repulsion, pause and ask yourself, what quality is this person displaying that I need to look at in myself? This simple question shifts you from victim consciousness to empowered awareness. If you're attracted to someone's confidence, ask yourself where you need to develop your own confidence. If someone's selfishness enrages you, explore where you've denied your own legitimate self-interest. If someone's vulnerability makes you uncomfortable, examine where you've armored yourself against your own softness. Every strong reaction is information about your inner landscape. Second, pay attention to patterns. Jung believed that whatever remains unconscious will be repeated compulsively. If you keep attracting the same type of partner, the same type of friend, the same type of boss, that's not bad luck. That's your psyche trying to make something conscious. The pattern will repeat until you finally see what it's trying to show you. Write down the commonalities in your significant relationships. What qualities do these people share? What role do you typically play? What outcome keeps happening? These patterns are your psyche's way of highlighting what needs healing or integration. Once you make the pattern conscious, you can start to change it. Third, do shadow work. This means actively exploring the parts of yourself you've rejected or denied. Journal about the qualities you judge harshly in others. These are likely your shadow qualities. Explore where these judgments came from. What messages did you receive about these qualities being unacceptable? How might these qualities actually serve you if integrated in healthy ways? For women especially, shadow work often means reclaiming qualities labeled as unfeminine or unacceptable. Anger, ambition, selfishness, sexual desire, power, aggression. These aren't bad qualities. They're essential aspects of a whole human being. When you integrate them consciously, you stop attracting people who embody them in extreme or destructive ways. Fourth, work with your complexes consciously. When you notice yourself reacting in ways that seem disproportionate to the situation, when you're suddenly flooded with anxiety, rage, or desperation, that's likely a complex being triggered. Instead of acting from that place, pause, breathe. Ask yourself, how old do I feel right now? Often, you'll realize you feel like a child, because that's when the complex was formed. Speak to that younger part of yourself with compassion. Reassure her that you're an adult now, with resources and choices she didn't have. You don't have to react from that wounded place. You can respond from your mature, integrated self. Over time, this practice weakens the complex's grip on you. Fifth, if you're finding this approach to relationships transformative, make sure you subscribe to this channel. We regularly explore how to apply Jungian psychology to create real change in your life. Don't miss future videos that can support your journey toward wholeness. Now let's talk about the ultimate purpose of all these destined encounters. Jung believed the goal of life is individuation, becoming fully yourself, integrating all the disparate parts of your psyche into a unified whole. And relationships are the primary arena where this work happens. Every person who changes your destiny is actually helping you become more yourself. Even the painful relationships, even the betrayals, even the heartbreaks, they're all serving your individuation process. They're stripping away false identities, breaking open defended places, forcing you to confront what you've been avoiding, and ultimately making you more authentic, more whole, more fully human. This doesn't mean everything happens for a reason in some simplistic way. It means that you can extract meaning and growth from everything that happens. You can use every relationship as an opportunity for deeper self-knowledge and transformation. The people who hurt you are showing you where you need to develop stronger boundaries and self-respect. The people who love you are showing you that you're worthy of love and helping you learn to receive it. The people who challenge you are forcing you to develop capacities you didn't know you had. All of it serves your becoming. Jung wrote, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there's any reaction, both are transformed." Every significant encounter changes you. The question is whether that change happens unconsciously, leaving you confused and reactive, or consciously, allowing you to grow and evolve intentionally. When you understand that people aren't accidents, that they're mirrors and teachers and catalysts for your soul's evolution, everything shifts. You stop being a victim of your relationships and start being an active participant in your own transformation. You stop asking, "Why does this keep happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" The people who appear in your life are synchronistic events, meaningful coincidences arranged by a deeper intelligence, whether you call that your psyche, your soul, the universe, or God. They come bearing gifts, even when those gifts are wrapped in painful experiences. Your job is to unwrap them, to extract the wisdom, to integrate the lesson, and to continue evolving toward the fullest expression of who you truly are. This is Jung's vision of destiny, not a predetermined script you're helpless to change, but a collaborative dance between your conscious choices and the deeper patterns of your psyche seeking wholeness. The people who change your life aren't changing you into something foreign. They're helping you remember and become who you've always been beneath all the conditioning and wounds and false identities.